Ever get that, that feeling that Google's got its fingers in a few too many pies?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, the U.S. government might be jumping on that bandwagon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, today's deep dive, it's a big one. It's the U.S. government versus Google, mano a mano.
Taking on the tech giant, huh?
Yeah.
That's always a fun one. So what's the government's beef this time?
It's about more than just, like, what pops up first when you search for, cat videos. This is about the whole enchilada.
Okay, color me intrigued. What's the nitty-gritty?
Well, we've got the Department of Justice, the DOJ, basically saying, hold up, Google, you're getting a little too big for your britches.
Ah, the classic monopoly argument.
Bingo. They're saying Google's got a stranglehold on search, and it's got to stop.
Which, let's be real, isn't exactly a shocker, right? Like, when is the last time you used anything but Google to find something online?
Seriously, it's like trying to remember life before smartphones. But, okay, so what's the DOJ going to do about it? They can't exactly shut down Google, can they?
Well, they're not going that far. But what they are talking about is forcing Google to share its data. That's the big one.
Whoa, okay, back up a second. Data. What kind of data are we talking about?
We're talking about the treasure trove of information Google collects on all of us, every search, every click, every cat video you've ever watched.
So, like, all that stuff that powers those targeted ads that seem to know exactly what you're thinking before you do.
Yep, that's the one. The DOJ's argument is that by hoarding all this data, Google's stifling competition, preventing other companies from, actually competing.
Okay, so I'm starting to see where this is going. Leveling the playing field, giving other companies a fighting chance. Sounds familiar, right? Didn't we see this whole movie with Microsoft and Internet Explorer back in the day?
Right. Totally. History loves to repeat itself, especially in the tech world. And yeah, back then it was all about Microsoft bundling Internet Explorer with Windows, basically making it the default browser for what, like a gazillion people?
And the DOJ wasn't having it. They stepped in, said, nope, not cool, and Microsoft had to change its tune.
Precisely. So you see the parallels here. But here's the kicker. This time around, the stakes are even higher. Google, or really its parent company Alphabet, it's a behemoth.
Like Godzilla versus King Kong level of big.
Even bigger, honestly. This isn't just about one browser. It's about everything. We're talking Chrome, Android, the whole shebang.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying my phone, my Android phone, which I pretty much live on, could look completely different in a few years?
Potentially, yeah. If the DOJ gets its way, Google would have to spin off Chrome and Android, making them separate entities. It would be a seismic shift in the tech landscape. Like, imagine a world where choosing a phone is completely separate from choosing a browser or an app ecosystem.
Okay, on the one hand, more options, more competition. That doesn't sound bad. But then again, wouldn't that lead to a lot of, fragmentation?
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword, right? More choice, but potentially more confusion, at least at first.
And let's be real, switching costs, even for something like a web browser, they can be a real pain. People get used to their routines.
Absolutely. So there's the big question. Would all this change actually lead to a better experience for users? More innovation or just more headaches? It's really anyone's guess at this point.
Good point. And speaking of opinions, what's Google's stance on all this? They can't be thrilled about the idea of being, well, dismantled.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Google's not exactly rolling out the red carpet for the DOJ. They're basically saying, hey, we play fair, there's plenty of competition out there, and that this whole thing would actually be bad for consumers.
Which, classic big corporation playbook.
Yeah.
But still, they kind of have a point about things potentially getting messy,
No,
right?
for sure. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. It's like, who do you root for? The underdog fighting for more competition, or the giant who's, let's be honest, become a pretty integral part of our digital lives?
It's a real head scratcher. So where does that leave us, the everyday users, just trying to navigate this crazy digital world?
Honestly, it puts us right in the middle of this power struggle. Because here's the thing. This isn't just about Google. It's about who gets to control the information we see, how we access it, and what that means for our digital freedom.
It's like we're at a fork in the road, and both paths lead to some pretty uncertain territory. Regardless of who comes out on top, this case is going to send ripples throughout the tech world, maybe even the whole world.
No doubt. It's a precedent-setting case, and it really forces us all to think about the kind of digital future we want. Do we want a handful of mega corporations calling the shots, or a more diverse, maybe even a bit chaotic landscape?
Big questions, no easy answers.
Yeah.
So next time you fire up Google to settle a bet, or let's be real, just to procrastinate for a few minutes, remember, it's not just a search engine. It's a battleground for the future of the internet.
And the future is far from written.
Exactly. It's a brave new world out there.
All right, well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. Be sure to check back in with us next time when we'll be, well, who knows what we'll be diving into next.
Looking forward to it. Until then, stay curious, my friend.